After graduating from Byleth's Paralogue, we return to the Somniel and view the B-rank bond conversations between Panette and Lyn, as well as Corrin and Alear, with Alear being unaware of the bloodbath his fellow dragon is about to cause soon. But before that, there's the support conversations. Alear thanks Fogado and the Sentinels for their hard work, and as thanks for the compliment, Fogado invites Alear for dinner to pry some personal secrets, discomforting Alear, though he understands that Fogado is just joking as he couldn't imagine otherwise. Seadall casts a desperate divination to find out if his meal is perfect for his dance, craving the savoury, and complains when he's given an undesirable answer. Alear tells him to calm down, and that his fried meal is worthwhile fuel, which Seadall is skeptical of, as this meal could mean the death of his allies if it leads to carelessness. Ivy is now comfortable enough to talk to Alear, and we find the reason for her demeanour in their sea support is because she loves him, in a worship the deity manner, and that she was merely nervous around him before. Then they awkwardly part ways. Louis checks if his people-watching hobby elicits joy in Ivy, but is instead chided for his first attempt. Louis doesn't plan on giving up, and offers a cup of tea while he comes up with another idea. But that invitation itself caused a brief smile to appear on Ivy, and she tries to deny that the tea isn't the cause, but instead Louis' efforts. Louis teases out another smile by praising a princess's joy, and Ivy, having had enough, demands her promised tea. Zelkov is invited by Louis to have tea and declines multiple times, not understanding Louis' simple objective of wanting to get to know him, and in an angsty manner, he tells Louis to stay away, but it's not enough to keep this conversationalist at bay. Merrin is relieved after finding from Panette that their last singing practice had no complaints, but quickly realizes that they can do better than just singing quietly to avoid criticism, and that's just by singing better. The duo get fired up, and they plan to seek their princess for serious feedback. Finally, Panette apologizes and reflects that she should have asked if Ivy was afraid of ghosts, and seeks atonement, but Ivy says she's okay, before teasingly saying she's been scarred for life from the experience, understanding that Panette thought she'd be happy, and that's what matters. They then maintain their friendship by drawing a line to stay within the land of the living. Returning to Firene, we teleport to the Crossroads of Fate for the next Paralogue. When we arrive, Corrin is reminded of the choice she had to make in Chapter 6 of Fire Emblem Fates, summarizing her relations to the nations of Hoshido and Nor, while also dodging the subject on whether she chose Conquest, her birthright, a revelation, or Smash, before redirecting the conversation to our next trial, where she chooses to murder my first attempt. And thus I'll discuss my second, as the strategy used is like the first, and there's the fact I gave a choice to you, my viewers, on how I should handle the peculiar conclusion of this battle after the stream of this attempt. We're positioned at the northern end of the map, surrounded by a river with the only easy access to enemy territory being the bridge to our right. Corrin stands to the direct south of our current position, on the only other bridge of the map, and to both sides of her are two sets of 4 fabrications, the left side representing the Norian royals Xander, Camilla, Leo, and Elise, while the right represents the Hoshidan royals Ryoma, Hinoka, Takumi, and Sakura, with the young staff users having silence staves to hinder our healers and tome users. Closer to us, the right side has a focus on non-mounted lance and bow units, while the left has a few swordmasters, axe cavalries, and a sage. And there's a lone unit in the water, indicating possible traversal for landlocked units. Despite that, I swap out Ivy for Seadall, since I was confident that the map will have its gimmick from Fates, based on the BS that Ivy pulled in his Paralogue. With Byleth back, I equip him onto Alear, I set everyone to these positions, and begin this battle against the Crux of Fate. My starting strategy is as follows. I have Louis ready to intercept most of the enemies on the left without entering the water, while everyone else blitzes over the bridge in 2 turns. And we've already jumped 2 timelines, which both involved Seadall's death, and these won't be the last. Just before turn 4, Corrin activates the map gimmick I was expecting and utilizes Dragon Vein to drain the river, allowing unimpeded ground unit traversal. Though before the regular troops on the left can take advantage of it, Louis is able to inflict considerable damage to the enemies near him with Great Ether, and he continues to maintain aggro against the enemies that can actually damage him, while everyone else halts their advance to intercept the loose remnants, losing another charge because of Merrin, Clan and Seadall all dying at once, though we eventually hole up in the nearby forest around turn 5. Turn 6, we start getting overwhelmed, so we head back north, centering our defense around Merrin using Bonded Shield, which failed us quite a bit for about 3 timelines, the first because I forgot to activate it, and the other 2, Merrin decided to let Awakens and Seadall die. Oh boy, 6 charges gone and we haven't even confronted Corrin and her entourage. Speaking of which, we do take out Fabrication Takumi, who overextended on turn 7, which is very much like him to do, and we retreat Louis to the Emblem energy tiles at the north because of Fabrication Leo, who killed him in the timeline. Oh, and in the same timeline when Louis was killed, I used the core doubles bait strategy, but Panette was overpowered by a combination of Corrin's torrential roar and the sheer number of attacks the remaining enemies could do to her, even after depleting the illusions. Fabrication Leo gets pin-cushioned by Panette on the enemy phase, and then we're on turn 8. With Merrin disengaged, everyone retreats north. Panette shoots Astra Storm to snipe down Fabrication Hinoka, and gets refreshed to bait out Torrential Roar even further up with core doubles again, and one of the illusions even erases Fabrication Xander from existence. Turn 9, despite the mostly evened numbers, things still aren't rosy, as every time we ganged up on Fabrication Ryoma, Corrin responded in kind, killing Jean once and Seadall twice, leading to the point where sacrifices are inevitable. Regardless, leaving Fabrication Ryoma alive is potentially disastrous for us, and it turned out to be when Merrin missed the backup hit and Alcus failed to crit, leading to both of their deaths. Turn 10, Seadall's misfortune continues, being unable to escape from the attack ranges of all the nearby enemies, unlike his allies, so Seadall succumbs to Fabrication Ryoma's crits. For everyone else, things are looking a little better. Corrin and Fabrication Camilla chase our units in the north, while Fabrication Sakura and Elise continue to tell Jean and Clan to shut up. Turn 11, an engaged Louis covers Alir and Panette's rears while they recover, with Jean and Clan keeping their distance from Fabrication Ryoma. Louis smacks down Fabrication Camilla on the enemy phase, and Fabrication Sakura, who's already broken her Silent Staff, fully recovers Fabrication Ryoma's HP. Turn 12 goes similarly to the previous. Louis sets up Great Ether, but gets ignored by Corrin this time, though it doesn't stop Fabrications Ryoma and Sakura from wandering into the Blast Zone, causing the latter to get crushed on turn 13, and with his remaining action, Louis finishes off Ryoma too. Corrin finally corners Alir and Panette on turn 14, though despite this I keep Panette on the defensive while Alir takes advantage of the free hits he can deal while Corrin maintains her use of the Wakizashi, setting up to trap Corrin when Louis catches up, which we successfully do on turn 17, breaking one of Corrin's revival stones in the process, conveniently lining up with Clan and Jean's arrival, who had been comedically chasing down Fabrication Elise since turn 12. With all the carnage the Crux of Fate's wrought and the pointless sacrifices made despite being common foes of the Fell Dragon, our remaining army hammers down on Corrin, and she succumbs to Great Ether.
Run while you can!
With this Pyrrhic victory, Corrin gloats ironically about how her sword, Yato, is a blade forged for peace, and about her killing about half my main roster? Pfft, totally not her fault. Anyway, this is the peculiar conclusion I was talking about. I pondered on whether I should continue from here, or travel back to before this battle, eventually leaving the choice to the stream viewers and anyone else that saw my poll. Well, since I've already spoiled the answer by marking this video as a 0.5 episode, here's the results of that poll, meaning the dead trio get to live for now.